Fantasy Football Rankings Week 15. These fantasy football rankings are based on the point per reception, PPR, scoring used in most seasonal and daily fantasy football formats. 1 point is awarded for every 10 rushing and receiving yards and 1 point for every 20 passing yards. 6 points are awarded for touchdowns scored, 4 points for passing TDs and 1 point for receptions. Rankings are compiled by FantasySharks.com. Quarterbacks: 1 Tom Brady N.E at Pitt. 2 Drew Brees N.O vs N.Y.J. 3 Cam Newton Carr vs GB. 4 Kirk Cousins was vs Ari. 5 Russell Wilson C vs L.A.R. 6 Philip Rivers L.A.C at KC. 7 Matthew Stafford it vs Kai. 8 Blake Bortles Jack vs who. 9 Alex Smith KC vs L.A.C. 10 Matt Ryan Apple at TB. 11 Nick Foles Phi at N.Y.G. 12 Derek Carr Oak vs Tal. 13 Case Keenum Minutes. Vs Sin. 14 Dak Prescott Dow at Oak. 15 Jared Goff L.A.R. at C. 16 Jameis Winston TB vs Saddle. 17 Ben Roethlisberger Pitt vs NE. 18 Marcus Mariota 10 at SF. 19 Andy Dalton Sin at Minutes. 20 Aaron Rodgers GB at Carr. 21 Blaine Gabbert Ari at Was. 22 Joe Flacco Ball at Cl. 23 Jimmy Garoppolo SF vs 10. 24 Mitchell Trubisky Kai at DIT. 25 Deshaun Kaiser Cl. vs Paul. 26 Trevor Siemian Den at Indiana. 27 Jay Cutler Mia at Buff. 28 Jacoby Brissett Indiana vs Den. 29 Bryce Petty N.Y.J at NO. 30 Joe Webb Buff vs Mia. Running backs: 1 Le'Veon Bell Pitt vs NE. 2 LaShawn McCoy Buff vs Mia. 3 Todd Gurley L.A.R. at C. 4 Devonta Freeman at TB. 5 Mark Ingram NO vs N.Y.J. 6 Melvin Gordon L.A.C. at KC. 7 Alvin Kamara NO vs N.Y.J. 8 Kenyon Drake Mia at Buff. 9 Christian McCaffrey Carr vs GB. 10 Kareem Hunt KC vs L.A.C. 11 Jamil Williams GB at Carr. 12 Latavius Murray Minutes. Vs Sin. 13 Leonard Fournette Jack vs who. 14 Carlos Hyde SF vs 10. 15 DeMarco Murray 10 at SF. 16 Frank Gore Indiana vs Den. 17 Marshawn Lynch Oak vs Tal. 18 Lamar Miller who at Jack. 19 Jordan Howard Kai at DIT. 20 Jerick McKinnon Minutes. Vs Sin. 21 Samaj Perini was vs Ari. 22 Tevin Coleman Apple at TB. 23 Theo Riddick vs Kai. 24 Danny Woodhead Ball at Cl. 25 Amir Abdul-Adit vs Kai. 26 Kerwin Williams Ari at Was. 27 Isaiah Crowell vs Paul. 28 J.J. Phi at N.Y.G. 29 Duke Johnson vs Paul. 30 Mike Davis C vs L.A.R. 31 LeGarrette Blount Phi at N.Y.G. 32 Alex Collins Ball at Cl. 33 Rex Burkhead N.E. at Pitt. 34 Dion Lewis N.E. at Pitt. 35 Doug Martin TB vs Saddle. 36 Orleans Darkwa N.Y.G. vs Phi. 37 Giovanni Bernard Sin at Minutes. 38 Matt Forte N.Y.J. at NO. 39 Javarius Allen Ball at Cl. 40 James White N.E. at Pitt. 41 Derrick Henry 10 at SF. 42 Marlon Mack Indiana vs Den. 43 Corey Clement Phi at N.Y.G. 44 Tarek Cohen Kai at DIT. 45 Jalen Richard Oak vs Tal. 46 Austin Eckler L.A.C. at KC. 47 Jonathan Stewart Carr vs GB. 48 Senorize Perry Mia at Buff. 49 Bila Powell N.Y.J at No50 TJ Yeldon Jack. Versus who? 51 Aaron Jones GB at Car. 52 Byron Marshall was. Versus Ari. 53 J.D. McKissick C. Versus L.A.R. 54 DeAndre Washington Oak. Versus Tal. 55 Chris Ivory Jack. Versus who? Wide receivers 1 Antonio Brown Pitt. Versus NE2 Keenan Allen L.A.C at KC3 Devin Adams GB at Car. 4 Julio Jones at TB5 Brandon Cooks NE at Pitt. 6 Larry Fitzgerald Ari. At was. 7 Michael Thomas NO versus N.Y.J 8 Devin Funkus Carr. Versus G Benign Golden Tate versus Kai. 10 AJ Green Sin. At minutes. 11 Alshon Jeffrey Phi. At N.Y.G 12 Michael Crabtree Oak. Versus Tal. 13 DeAndre Hopkins Who. At Jack. 14 Jarvis Landry Mia. At Buff. 15 Tyreek Hill Casey versus L.A.C 16 Marquise Lee Jack. Versus who? 17 Mike Evans TB versus Adel. 18 Adam Thielen Minutes. Versus Sin. 19 Doug Baldwin C. Versus L.A.R 20 Days Bryant Dow. At Oak. 21 Marvin Jones Det. Versus Kai. 22 Kenny Stills Mia. At Buff. 23 T.Y. Hilton Indiana vs. Den. 24 Demaryius Thomas Den. At Indiana 25 Sammy Watkins L.A.R at C. 26 Jordy Nelson GB at Car. 27 Stephon Diggs Minutes. Versus Sin. 28 Robert Woods L.A.R at C. 29 Cooper Kupp L.A.R at C. 30 Josh Gordon Cole. Versus Paul. 31 Marquise Goodwin SF versus 10. 32 Ted Ginn Jr. NO versus N.Y.J 33 Jamison Crowder was. Versus Ari. 34 Randall Cobb GB at Car. 35 Sterling Shepard N.Y.G versus Phi. 36 Emmanuel Sanders Den. At Indiana 37 Nelson Aguilar Phi. At N.Y.G 38 Mohamed Sinuel. At TB 39 Juju Smith-Schuster Pitt. Versus NE 40 Mike Wallace Ball. At CL. 41 Richard Matthews 10. At SF 42 Deed Westbrook Jack. Versus who? 43 Robbie Anderson N.Y.J at NO 44 Tyrell Williams L.A.C at KC 45 Josh Doctson was. Versus Ari. 46 Chris Hogan NE at Pitt. 47 Paul Richardson C. Versus L.A.R 48 Jeremy Macklin Ball. At CL. 49 Devant Parker Mia. At Buff. 50 Zay Jones Buff. Versus Mia. 51 Will Fuller Who. At Jack. 52 Deshaun Jackson TB versus Adel. 53 Danny Amendola NE at Pitt. 54 Jermaine Kearse N.Y.J at NO. 55 Brandon Lane Felsin. At minutes. Titans 1 Travis Kelce Casey versus L.A.C 2 Zach Ertz Phi. At N.Y.G 3 Delaney Walker 10. At SF 4 Jack Doyle Indiana versus Den. 5 Rob Gronkowski NE at Pitt. 6 Kyle Rudolph Minutes. Versus Sin. 7 Hunter Henry L.A.C at KCA Jimmy Graham C. Versus L.A.R 9 Evan Engram N.Y.G versus Phi. 10 Jason Witten Dow. At Oak. 11 Ricky Seals Jones Ari. At was. 12 Ben Watson Ball. At CL. 13 Cameron Brate TB versus Adel. 14 Vernon Davis was. Versus Ari. 15 Charles Clay Buff. Versus Mia. 16 Eric Ebrindit. Versus Kai. 17 Josh Hill North.O. Versus N.Y.J 18 Julius Thomas Mia. At Buff. 19 Tyler Croft Sin. At minutes. 20 Jared Cook Oak. Versus Tal. 21 George Kittle SF versus 10. 22 Marcedes Lewis Jack. Versus who? 23 David Njoku. Versus Paul. 24 Austin Seferian Jenkins N.Y.J at NO 25 OJ Howard TB vs Saddle. 26 Austin Hooper Adel. At TB 27 Stephen Anderson Who. At Jack. 28 Greg Olson Carr. Vs GB 29 Jermaine Gresham Ari. At Was. 30 Seth DeValvekal. Vs Paul. Kickers 1 Matt Brachadit. Vs Kai. 2 Stephen Gostkowski N.E at Pitt. 3 Matt Bryan Tattle. At TB4 Greg Zuerla and L.A.R at C. 5 Justin Tucker Ball. At Cl. 6 Chris Boswell Pitt. Vs N.E 7 Will Lutz N.O vs N.Y.J 8 Harrison Butker Casey vs L.A.C 9 Robbie Gould SF vs 10 Graham Gano Carr. Vs GB 11 Jake Elliott Phi. At N.Y.G 12 Nick Rose Was. Vs Ari. 13 Chandler Catanzaro N.Y.J at NO 14 Ryan Saw 10. At SF 15 Stephen Hoskabuf. Vs Mia. 16 Travis Coons L.A.C at KC 17 Brandon McManus Den. At Indiana 18 Adam Vinatieri Indiana vs Den. 19 Kaimi Fairbairn Who. At Jack. 20 Josh Lambo Jack. Vs Who. 21 Kai for Bath Minutes. Vs Sin. 22 Patrick Murray TB vs Saddle. 23 Dan Bailey Dow. At Hoke. 24 Aldrich Roses N.Y.G vs Phi. 25 Cody Parkey Mia. At Buff. 26 Phil Dawson Ari. At What.